You've been here before. Monday morning, sales meeting, great energy, people clapping, you pound the desk, and then by Wednesday, half the board is blanked and you're wondering where the fire went. See, hope isn't enough. And optimism without preparation, it's just hype. And hype dies really quick in a dealership. Elite leaders, they carry a different edge. Realistic optimism. They expect victory and they prepare for the fight. I'm Chris Hunsicker, and this is the Dealership War Room Leadership Fire. 5 minutes, built daily, fueled intentionally, and delivered relentlessly. And today, we're going to dive into one of the most important combinations you can have: realistic optimism. So let's go. Optimism matters. It sets the tone. I mean, nobody wants to follow a gloomy general into battle. But if optimism is all you're selling, then people are going to crash hard when reality shows up. That's why teams can get so excited on Monday and they crash by Wednesday, because they bought into the hype and not a plan. Research in positive psychology shows us that optimism boosts motivation and resilience. But stoicism reminds us that the obstacles are always coming, and elite leadership combines both. So how do you combine optimism, realism? By using what I call the two-lens check. Because elite operators who thrive in any circumstance filter every single goal through two lenses. Lens one is optimism. Why can we win? How is this going to work? What past successes can I draw back on? This is where you're really building this sense of belief and certainty that you can hit the goal, that your team can hit the goal. And this is a critical lens to look through. Two is realism. What obstacles do you know are going to show up? What's going to make this hard? See, that fuels preparation. When you only use lens one, you create hype. And when you only use lens two, you crush morale. But when you use both, you build belief and resilience. That's what makes it so powerful. You see, belief gets you to take action, take the first step. But resilience, that's what keeps you taking action after all hell breaks loose and everything starts to go wrong. That's why you need both optimism and resilience. So let's take a real world example. You want to do 100 units this month. So you look through lens one. Optimism says traffic is up, inventory is looking good. You got 2 new hungry salespeople, and this is the time to strike. Lens two, realism, says 3 of your 4 top guys are in a slump, that you're having service lane issues and CSI is dropping, and 2 weekends are already taken with local events that are literally going to pull shoppers off your lot. Optimism says we can hit this. Realism says, hey, we got to get ready for what's going to hit us. So what do? You put extra promotions on the weekends. You double down on service lane communication, and you assign a couple of mentors or some hawks to those 2 new guys. So everybody's on point, everybody's functioning, and you're taking what you know is going to come up and you're beating it before it ever happens. See, now your people, they're not just hoping, they're equipped. And that is the edge that you get when you have optimism and realism as the plan. So what I'd ask you to do is simply use what I would call the 2-lens checklist. This is simple. Number 1, what's the goal? Number 2, the optimism lens. How do we know this is going to work? Why is this going to work? Why do we know this is going to happen? Number 3, realism lens. What challenges do we know are going to come up and we know are going to try and get in the way? And then number 4, what's our counter strike? What's our plan to strike back and make sure we make that happen? When you run this checklist through your goals, a daily goal, a weekly goal, a monthly goal, or what you want to do for the whole year, it doesn't matter. But you use this 2-lens check and you will absolutely increase not just your goal achievement, but the speed at which you achieve your goals. You're going to 2, 3, 4, 5x them by simply making this one little shift. So now it's time to turn inside into action and cross that bridge. Here's what I'd like you to do is pick one goal that you have in the dealership. It could be sales, gross, could be service, anywhere that you know is critical, important for you. And now I want you to run the 2-lens check with your managers. Get your managers in the room, everybody sit down, or if you're a manager, get your team together in the room and run through those. Lens number 1, optimism. Why is this going to work? Why do we know we can achieve this goal? Lens number 2, realism. What do we know is going to try and stop us? What do we know is going to get in the way? And then combine both of those together to create what's your counterstrike plan. That when all hell breaks loose and everything starts to go on, what's your plan before the battle ever starts to get it addressed and get it done? Because here's the hard truth. Optimism without realism is fragile. But optimism with realism, that, my friend, is unstoppable. And that is how you build an unstoppable culture. Hope with a plan This is your edge. That's how you stay an elite operator that run two lens check, optimism, realism. Lead with optimism, build that fierce sense of belief and that resilience in your team. But then fight with preparation, knowing what's going to come up. Nothing new is under the sun, and looking at all that. And I'll see you tomorrow in the dealership war room. So go out today and create some leadership fire.